Hello everybody. I'm making a little video. I want to demonstrate something, and then I'm going to address the repair for it. It's a minor issue. I mean, if you can live with it, it's fine. A lot of us guitar players like to have the action low. Like to have the action, the height of our strings, right, between the fretboard and the string. We want it to be a nice, comfortable height, right? I mean, there are some players that like to have a higher action, right? Which is really cool for if you're going to dig in with bends and do a lot of heavier playing. You get some air between the strings and the fretboard. Man, you can get some really nice chunky rips. And I do have some guitar, maybe one or two guitars that are kind of set up for that purpose, right? But for the most part, I just think of what Tommy Emmanuel said one time. I believe in an interview where he said, like, guitar playing is hard enough as it is, right? Why do we want to make it even harder? So I don't have such a light touch where I could put the strings like basically super low, and I just don't. But I don't like to be fighting with the guitar at the same time. So what I'm here to do right now is I'm going to talk a little bit about fret buzz, and specifically here in this area, which is anything above the 8th fret and above. Usually when people say there's two fixes to this, you can either adjust the neck, which the truss rod is up here, or if you have like a traditional style Fender neck and so forth, the older necks, you have to move this a little bit, raise the neck up, and adjust the truss rod down here, which can be kind of a pain, but it's worth it. But usually a neck adjustment will take care of anything below the 7th, 8th fret. Anything above that, the adjustment usually has to be made at the bridge. Okay, sometimes what people do to adjust the action a little bit, and I'm not going to do that in this video, but here what they do is they'll do a shim. They'll actually put like a little thin piece of wood, or like I did on one of my guitars, I put a couple of pieces of cereal box tops right here and here, just to kind of raise the angle of the, so you can do it that way as well. I'm going to choose to do this particular guitar with what's called a shim at the bridge, okay? And the reason I'm going to do that is because this particular guitar, when I bought it, I did a video on this one a few weeks ago, and it was kind of long, but but I love this guitar. But anyway, what the problem I think on this guitar is, from doing a little bit of research, is that as cool as this bridge is, this is an Ibanez Edge bridge, okay? As cool as this bridge is, this bridge has a flat radius, meaning it doesn't have a lot of curve to it. It's just flat, okay? And if you have a guitar, like, I don't know if you guys can see that one that I have right up there, that Ibanez that I have, or that black one, that's an FR. That bridge, that neck rather, has like almost a 16-inch radius, meaning pretty much what we mean by radius is the curvature of the neck, right? So a 16-inch radius pretty much means that that's a pretty flat neck. And I have about 4 guitars that I own that have some kind of Ibanez bridge, an edge, or flat non-trim, right? And they all have the matching radius with this. Now, I don't know, when I bought this guitar, I bought in a pawn shop a while back. If you really take a look at the paint job right there, it really wasn't a professionally done paint job. So I don't know if this guitar was modded or not, but somebody put, or I know that at one point they started putting these edge tremolos. I traced this back to about 86, using serial numbers and so forth. And but I love the look of the guitar. This matte black finish on it just looks so cool to it. And recently, like I mentioned, I did a video on this where I replaced the pickups in there. There's a Andy Timmons bridge pickup and 2 Area 61. All 3 pickups are from DiMarzio. Sound really good. But we want to tweak. I want to tweak this guitar a little bit more, because I can feel a little bit of struggle at the bridge. Well, not the bridge, but on the 10th fret. And let me show you guys something here, okay? I'm not going to play. I have it hooked up rather into my amp. But like, what I want you guys to notice is, I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm digging into it pretty hard, and it's ringing pretty good. Even if I turn it up a little bit, it's digging in pretty good. It's not causing any, you don't hear a lot of buzz, right? Just dropped my pick. Let me grab another one. And, but when I go up to about the 10th fret, if I do any vibrato, or right here, notice there's a little bit, I mean, I hear it a little bit, but this one kind of breathes a little bit more. This note And you can hear it. I don't know if you guys hear it from the amp. There's a little bit of an extra noise that wasn't here. You can hear the string kind of fretting out a little bit over these higher frets. So down here, guitar feels great. Even up here, it feels pretty good too, but I kind of want to have a nice, even, action all the way across the neck. And so from what I've looked into so far, I mean, I'm not a luthier in any way, but what I've noticed so far from all the research that I've done is that the radius of the neck, okay, the radius of this neck and the radius of this bridge really don't match up that well. This is an original edge. This is not a edge 2 or 3. There's more recent versions of this, but this is I don't think this is the low pro, because you see how the tuners stick up above, okay? But and then you guys can see that the cavity is not dug out in the back, so I can't like really pull back. But I don't know if you guys noticed, I have it blocked anyway, right? So I just love the way this thing sounds without the trim and the hollowed out stuff. It just sounds really fat, But anyway, the problem is this radius doesn't match with the radius of the neck. This neck has a radius of about 9.5 inches, which is closer to what a Fender bridge has. But your Fender bridges are easily adjusted, I think, because they have the saddles. It's just not a floating system on a standard trim, and you can adjust the saddles a little bit easier. Here, the saddle adjustment, you can't really raise the saddles the way you can on a Fender trim. You have to do something different, and that's where the shim comes in. So I am going to perform a little bit of a shim repair on here. I'm going to show a part of it that I'm going to do, and then we'll check afterwards to see if there's any difference. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to repair mode here and do the best I can. Okay, warning, like I said, I'm not a luthier, but I'm doing this to show you guys that a lot of these things that involve minor adjustments you can do yourself. I've been doing that a lot lately, and it really has made a difference in the way my guitars feel. And then when I needed, for example, the pickups done, I had somebody actually do it, because I'm not very good at soldering, right? And I want to make a good connection there. And I had a former student of mine, Fred Barrera and Jonathan there at Flat 5 Music here in Laredo. They did the pickups for me. Works and sounds great, okay? But this shim I'm going to do on my own. So we'll switch over, okay? Okay, I've switched over now. I have my guitar laid out on my desk here. All right, the beautiful desk that was given to me by a good friend of mine, Adolfo. And on this instrument, you guys can see right here, I've already done a couple of the shims. I'm gonna move the camera a little bit, and then if the audio changed a little bit, or the camera, I'm using straight up my phone right now. So I just wanted to, it's easier for me to get in there and show some of the diagramming here, but or the setup. But if you guys notice right here, I'm going to go ahead and use my pen here. You can see that right here, you see how it's all the actual bridge, right? Over here you see like a little, I don't know if you guys can see there, there's a little bit of a silver piece right there. You guys can see that I've already installed one shim there. And on this string right here, on the G, I've actually already installed 2 shims, okay? Now, again, warning, I am not a professional luthier or repairman or anything. So, things that I've done, I haven't actually busted or broken a guitar yet, right? And hopefully I won't do it during the making of this video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one shim. I'm going to go ahead and shim the whole bridge just to kind of fit the radius a little bit more. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I already put a shim here. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put 2 on each of these in the middle, one here, and then one here. All right. And what that's going to do, and let me show you a shim so you can see what it looks like here. Okay, here is a shim. Okay, now it's got a little hole in there so you can fit the little bridge screw in there, right? You guys can see that right there. But look at how thick it is. I mean, it's not a thick piece of metal. It's a very thin little piece of metal, but on a guitar, millimeters is everything, right? A little tiny measure will make the smallest difference, or not the smallest difference, but the most significant difference. You'd be surprised, So let me go ahead and reposition the camera here, and I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Very important. I did not get the wrenches that came with this thing, right? All the Allen wrenches, but I happen to have this one. I believe this is a metric measure, all right? And right now, also, you want to make sure you try to match these up as perfect as possible, because if you don't, what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up stripping the screws, and these screws you don't want to strip, because then you're really going to have to work hard to look for them. Okay, so right here I'm going to go ahead and do the shim on this one, so you guys can see. So the first thing I'm going to do, usually I think what a repairman would do is take the strings off and everything, stuff like that, but you can actually do this with the strings on. I'm going to do a string change after this anyway. I just, for the purpose of the video, just so you can see what you need to do. So right here you guys can see the guitar strung to pitch right here. I'm going to go ahead and detune the string, okay? And I'm just doing this real kind of haphazard. So again, I apologize for the roughness of the video here, but just so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully it'll give you a little bit of a perspective. So you guys can see the string is loose there. I got it as loose as I can, okay, for now. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and right here, make sure the Allen wrench is fitting in there. Slowly turn it. Don't go and start going crazy and trying to because you might strip it right away, right? So as soon as you kind of feel it moving, it'll start moving, and then right here I'm just going to straighten it up a little bit here, and you can see that it's moving easily. Okay, and I need to take it completely out. Okay, now you need to be able to do this if you ever plan on intonating your guitar. Okay, so that's another thing you need to be able to do. Notice right here that this particular one came with you guys can see it has a little bolt on there. When I took off the first one over here, it didn't have that. Okay, so again, just be careful when you're doing this stuff. Don't lose anything that's already there. And you can see that this thing comes up individually, right? You can see, look, here it is, the underneath and everything. I didn't know, but I found out right here a little while ago that this thing has like a little pointy thing right there, so don't just grab it and squeeze it in there, because it's just irritating. It won't kill you or nothing like that. But anyway, so right here what I'm going to go ahead and do is, there's my shim right here. I'm going to grab it. Okay, again, here's my shim. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and just place it in there, and to the best of my ability, again, this is trying to get as best the camera angle as I can, I'm gonna line it up with the hole that's there, right? Let me move the light so you guys can see. You guys can see the little hole that's there, right? And right here, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is put this back in place. Okay, and you can see right here, right? Let me go ahead and move the camera a little bit there. You can see that the holes are lined up. Okay, the holes have to be lined up, right? So that the screw will go in. It might move on you a little bit, but you just readjust, and right? And so right here, I'm going to go ahead and put the screw back in there. Okay, and again, carefully putting this thing in, making sure not to strip the bolt, right? Because again, these things are hard to find. Okay, you do a little web research, you'll find them. But again, now right here, notice it started to give me a little bit of resistance. So as soon as I get there, as soon as I can't turn it anymore, that's it, I'm done. This thing's not going to move. Okay, it really won't move. If it moves right now, that means I got it. But like right here, I'm pushing on it pretty good. You guys can see I'm pushing on this thing. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to string my guitar back to pitch. Oh, right there. You can see there it is. I've put in my shim, and I didn't really demonstrate any of the buzz here, okay? But you'll notice no fret buzz. There's a little bit when I hit it, right? Because I'm not really picking it up and strumming it the way I normally would. But if I hit it, a little bit more sustain. Now I already did one on the G. I haven't done the D yet, but you can hear it. Okay, so now that's how you do the shim. Basically, that's all you do. You just got to loosen this bolt right here, right? Pick up the thing. If you can take off all the strings and do this, and it'll probably be a lot easier, right? But again, just take off the bolt, put the shim in there, place it. Now I'm gonna have to intonate it, right? Because I don't know if you guys notice right here. If I use a tuner, the intonation might be a little bit off when I do that. That's a whole other video to do, right? But all I would have to do, I don't have to remove the bolt. All I would have to do is loosen this and either pull this back or push this forward, depending on whether it's sharp or flat, right? So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and complete the rest of this and then just give a quick little demo as to how it turned out, okay? All right, so here we are, having to finish. What I did, just to finish it off, is I put shims. Let me go just get closer right here. I put one shim on this one. I ended up putting two shims on the B string because there was a little bit of a buzz after I did that, but you know, I'm just gonna look at it again after I finish this here and just double check, all right, to make sure everything's good again, right? Because I wanted to do this. I did it a little quick, right? So I'll go back and double check my work. But I put one shim here, okay. I put two on each of these right here, okay. And then I put one shim on the A and one shim on the E. So I shimmed it and then I adjusted it a little bit. It's still not perfectly tuned, right? But I do plan to do a string change after this and kind of take a little bit more time intonating it. Intonating it, an edge or a floaty road system is a little bit tougher because you have to adjust the individual saddle, right? And like I said, that's a whole other video, but what makes it more difficult on your Strat style tremolos, there tends to be, they have on the saddle right here, none of these can be, like they can be removed and so forth, but there's a screw back here at the top that you just get a Phillips and you just adjust and move in and out a lot easier. This one here, you have to loosen these bolts, you have to loosen the string from what I'm using. Maybe there's another way out there that, you know, that people know how to do a little bit quicker. But anyway, so that's how I've done it over the years. And again, there's probably, again, I'm not a professional luthier, but that's how I do it. And it works, right? So here it is, right? Last time I was playing it, about right here, and there was a little bit of a, let me do it without the guitar. Still a little bit there, right? But it's not as pronounced. It rings out, right? And when I turn up the volume on the guitar, right here is still a little bit of something, right? But that could also be a fret, right? Remember that these frets right here on this guitar, this guitar is, right, by the way, is pretty much as is how I bought it about maybe 10 years ago, and this thing goes all the way back to 1986. I doubt that it's had any kind of fret work done, and when I inspect the frets, they're kind of worn. So, you know, I also need to have a fret job done on this guitar. But the shim, oh, sorry. The shim has done its work. So, you know, it's a nice little thing to be able to do to the bridges here. I mean, there's a lot of different, the shim is just a little piece of something that goes in there just to raise things, right? And adjust the height when you can't physically adjust the height. So that helps out, especially on a guitar that has a floating or a locking tremolo like mine. Now you guys will notice that since I have this block, this thing doesn't, you know, I can't pull it back. I really don't use a tremolo. And the edge that I have in here, actually where the tremolo goes in right here has the little, I forget what it's called, the arm holder is broken off. So I can't use a trem anyway, right? But, and then the other thing I'd like to point out, I don't know if anybody noticed in the video, but I had said that these two right here that I had done before the video, that it came without the little washers that were on there. Okay, I just didn't see them slip off. I already took them off and put them back in there. Everything is adjusted the way it should be, and as you know, to the best of my knowledge. But I mean, there it is right there. Okay, and you know, if you like what you saw, or if you have anything to contribute, maybe another recommendation, you know, feel free to comment. You know, and you know, if you like what you see, again, as far as the what I do and so forth, subscribe and you know, do my best to keep up with everything. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully we'll see you soon. I missed. Take care. Bye.